All right, here we go. I'm going to show you how to make this propeller as the first step on our airplane project. Um, and again, I would ask that you guys, think about the way you want to design yours. Like I did a 2-inch long blade. I did 6 of them. I did a 35-degree angle of attack at the hub. And so anyways, but you guys can play around with variations on this. Let's just go for it. I'll try and kind of go as fast as I can, but I also cover some basics. So this is just going to be a standard IPT part. Now, for those of you who are new to Inventor and been using Onshape, you'll notice that the planes and the center point and the axes, that they don't come shown. So what I can do is I can right click on them and make them visible. I'm going to save time by holding Shift and do that for all of these. And now if I hold Shift on the keyboard and use the middle mouse button, which is the roller wheel on the mouse, you can see I can rotate around and have that blue cube on the right, which is just like an Onshape. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start with this. So it's okay. I approached this the way it made the most sense to me, which is thinking of the plane, that the propeller is at the front of the plane, which, by the way, it doesn't have to be. It can be at the back, it can be in the sides. So, but I'm going to pretend that in this case, I'm looking down on the top front of my plane. I designed the propeller with this methodology, and it worked pretty good. So I'm going to stick with it. So what that means is the first thing I'm going to make is the round center hub. And I'll click on what I'm calling the front plane because it's aligned to the front face here. They call it the XY plane. And I'll sketch. And I'll put a center point in. Now this is going to be the diameter of the hub. If you read the article I put in there, there's different philosophies on how big the hub should be, and there's calculations and everything. But when I first did this, I decided that it seemed to me, since the shaft itself is only 0.07 inches in diameter, that a quarter of an inch was fine. So that's what I did. And then I finished that sketch. And then what I can do is extrude that. And I'm going to extrude it. I'm just going to, yeah, that's good. I like to flip the direction. I thought there was an option to do that over here really quickly. I know you can always grab these handlebars, there it is, and then flip the direction. And I decided, I made it only a quarter of an inch in length, but then I realized it really needs to be a little bit longer at the very minimum. So I'm going to make this one 0.35 inches. All right, so let's view this propeller now from the top. And so the blades will span out in each direction. And I decided to just draw the first one on the ground top plane, and then that first blade would go straight up in the air. And so that's how I'm going to look at this. So I hold Shift, I rotate around a little bit. All right, now I'm going to hit Sketch again, and then this time it's going to be on a ground plane. So this is where you're really going to put your angle of attack of the blade, is on this face. When the blade is all the way out to the tip, that's where it's going to be more in line. And what I'm just going to put a spline in here and kind of get this started and show you what I mean. So if I wanted to put a basic airfoil shape, and then I'm going to double click, and I realized after doing this that one of the problems is that the hub kind of gets in the way here, and you can't see the sketch underneath the way that this is designed. I think there's a way to change that in the way that we view the model. I'm a little rusty on Inventor, so I'm struggling to think of it. There's a way to make stuff transparent, but I'm not going to fuss too much about that right now. What I'm going to do is my trick, which is come up here under the folder where it has all the solid bodies, I'm going to right click and hit the visibility off. We're ready. I'm going to finish my airfoil profile. I'm going to go back into my sketch. And then the bottom is the one that's going to be more flat. And I'm going to put, you're going to see I'm kind of creating 3-point airfoil. And this one at the top was a 2-point. Maybe what I'll do is just undo that really quickly. Oh, undo that. Redo that. And then what I want to show you is if you click that, delete it. I want to show you, I'm pretty happy with what I'd call a 4-point spline. To check. And you can move these points around. And the other thing I like to do is change this, which changes the continuity of the curve at the front. So that's going pretty much flat right there, the front leading edge of this wing profile. And then this one at the bottom, similar thing. I always pull that up so that it has nice continuity at the front. And then you can see you can do different tricks. And it may be advantageous to have another vertex. So you see I right click and I can add one. And then that one, what you can do is you can pull that one out and you can also kind of trim it back so it kind of tucks underneath. That's a trick that I like to do for my airfoils. It just makes me feel good. I like the look of it. I think in my mind it's also it's going to create more lift. But I'm not really sure. I just kind of guess at a lot of the stuff. Who knows? This may be the more advantageous shape. Okay. I only created this to point out that this is, if you're thinking about this propeller moving in a clockwise direction, if viewed from the back of the plane, looking forward, looking through my propeller. So let me just kind of point this out, that if I was like sitting in my plane looking at my propeller right now, and this is going to be the first blade going straight up. Now I'm going to kind of come and just look at the top of it. What you're going to see is what we're going to do is it's going to create lift in this profile. So just give me 1 second. I don't know. I can't find my. There it is. You're the snow. I can't find my menu for making this video. I apologize, guys. But what else? So I'll just keep going here. They have an annotation tools. You know, it's going to annotate this, but basically the air is coming over the top, and it's going to move faster than the air coming on the bottom. That's going to make this higher pressure and this lower pressure. This faster moving air is going to be lower pressure. So you're going to get a push, in a sense, coming from behind. That's how these propellers work. So the end of the blade is going to be like this because you want the end to be efficient and not have a lot of aggressive attack angle because that's just how it works. So really, this is the profile that we're going to make for the end. And I only wanted to show it to you. So I'm going to trim it out and show you what I really want to set up. And I'm going to start with a line to it here. Is I really want to set up an angle of a center line angle of the blade profile. And then I'm also add a line here to the base here. And this is just for reference. So I'm going to hit this view so I'm squared up. There we go. So you see this line is going to be horizontal. And then I want to define some angle to this. So that's where I'm going to go and hit dimension. I dimension from there to there. It adds a line. 43. For the first one that I did 35. So there it is. There's the first center line element in my airfoil profile. So then I go back in, hit spline, and one more trick. I'm going to click on this one and make it construction. Also, same with this one. Right click on it, make it construction. Now I can go create my airfoil spline. You're going to notice that there's two types of spline. I'm going to use control vertex spline for all of these. Okay, so I do my 1, 2, and 3. It's actually 4 points total, by the way, if you count them up. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll call that a 4-point spline. And then I can do my trick of making sure I pull the continuity up. And then I just have this one other point to control the continuity at the top. I want to make this one a little thicker because these three print and they're really small. So a little body depth to the profile may help. And then the underside portion of my airfoil shape. And so I set that up. 1 and 2 and finish 3. Again, I make sure I've got that nice continuity here of the curve at the leading edge. And over here, just a real shallow angle. And I'm going to go ahead and do that other trick. I'm going to go ahead and insert a vertex here that I can kind of dip this back under a little bit. I like it, but you don't have to do that. Okay, I feel pretty good about this. I'm going to burp this a little bit. There we go. I'm just going to sit back and look at it for a second. Make sure I'm happy with it. I think I am. So there we go. That is going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring this solid back. I may have to make that invisible again later on. Yeah, I will. Actually, I'll just keep it hidden for right now. Now, the tip of the blade, how do we create that, right? So what I'm going to show you is you do that by creating a plane, an offset plane. Offset from the top. How far? Again, I did mine as a 2-inch, so I'm just going to type in 2 inches, hit enter. And now up here is where I'm going to complete the other part of this. So I sketch up here. And now this is the one I told you that you want to tip it and have it in line so it's more efficient. At the base, at the hub, it's okay to have a lot of attack angle. But as it twists and helixes, then flatten out to a more efficient profile. So, make my spline. And I just want to have it basically in the middle as well. It wouldn't hurt to go ahead and put another line element in here as such. And hit escape and then right click and make that a 3 construction. Then I can put my spline here. So 1, 2. You can see what you're dragging out. If I click that, there's a little symbol there that makes those two parallel. I always try and stay away from any of those types of constraints because they can really frustrate you later. Okay, you know that trick already. I'm going to go ahead and keep it with a little bit of broadness. I think that's going to help the strength of my blade. And then BuzzFeed!
No, go get Were you still on video?
What do
you mean I did?
No, it only knows not over.
Add vertex, insert vertex. Here. I could escape. Drop it over there. There we go. Okay. So basically, we're going to use a loft to connect these two. And let me show it to you, even though we're not going to, I'm going to modify this with a couple of guides. And I'll show that to you on how you make that. But if all I did was loft these, then I could pick that one and click in here to add another one. And is And why is it showing? Pick that one at the bottom. No. Switch be able to go ahead and just pick this. Sketch, yeah. Here. Let me try this one more time. Sorry, guys. Loft. And for some reason, it won't let me pick that first sketch. I don't necessarily know why it's doing that to me right now. I wish I did. Let me try it one more time. Loft. Oh, here. By the way, I forgot. Make sure when you're doing this, you're picking new cell. That didn't seem to make any difference to picking the sketches down here. But let me make sure this is a closed loop sketch, which it is. It may be, that may be the problem here, is that I don't have a closed loop sketch on this first sketch. I thought I had it nicely connected at these points. I certainly do feel so. Sketch. So why don't you let me see if I can extrude that. Yeah, I can pick it. It's a closed loop sketch. Cancel. Loft, she won't let me pick it, even though it's a new material. I don't know why, but I don't want to take forever with your guys' time worrying about it. So what I'm going to do is just recreate it and see if that'll solve our problem. So even though we already had that sketch, I'm just going to go ahead on a new sketch here quickly, not taking too much time. I'll basically just duplicate that one. There. And click it to finish it. Pretty good. I got not many complaints about that. I don't know how to finish it. I don't know. Let's yeah, it lets me pick it. Okay, well that's good. That's what we needed. Oh, sorry, wrong one. I wanted this one at an angle. I think I just messed up the sketch that I just made. I didn't put it at the angle. You guys probably hate me, but all right, just fast forward to that. Once again, from the top, I'm going to sketch this spline and make that spline. This time, it's going to be
Oh, AJ, where's the
and one line from that point. 1, 2, 3. All right, finish. Now, will it let me do that now? I'm going to go ahead and hit home here so I'm getting more sense of it. Now, loft. Thank God. All right. So it did let me pick that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and click another one to add to that. Now, this is where I want to show you how the loft feature works. So it creates it right up here. I'm gonna, oh, by the way, when I did this, I didn't hit new, and I need to. So I'm gonna reopen it. There it is. So you guys can see it. That's kind of, looks good. Looks like a turbine, looks like a blade, and that would work in and of itself, but I'm not done with that. Although that would work. If you made a smaller profile, made that smaller, you know, it would come to a bigger point, vice versa. You could dare to make it bigger on the outside and smaller on the inside, but that's certainly a good start. What I like to do is add a little breadth, a little width in the middle, a little curvature on both sides of the blade. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. And when you're doing a loft, really, I'm going to double click on this loft and show you that you have an opportunity to add rails. So if I add additional sketch elements, which will tell the loft how to go, that's what I've got to create those elements. So for me, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to delete this loft. Oops, it also deleted that sketch, which I didn't want that to be the case. All I'm going to do is actually, I'll just undo it. Where did that sketch go? I think it's underneath the loft. So I'm going to go ahead and back up one more. There it is. We've got 2 sketch elements. So to get I'll show you the best way I can think of to do guides or path, additional rails for a loft. We want to connect. It's important that we connect that point to that point. And to do so, you just need a plane that goes through that point and that point. And then you need a third point to define a plane. Since in math, 3 points define a plane. So you're going to see how I do this. I go up here and I hit plane, and I do the 3-point plane. And I hit and zoom in. I'm careful to make sure I get the right point. Get that point. And I get that point. And by the way, let me see if I can, I'm going to see. Because I want to make sure that thing I need to make invisible. I don't want that one to get confused with the one I'm actually using. There we go. So let me go back to plane, 3-point. It's going to be that right there. So now it pops in there. That point is 0.1. That point is 0.2. And I just use the back edge of this top profile to create that additional point. And you're going to see it did put a plane in that I can use. So I say that's the work plane 2. Do a sketch on it. And quite simply, just put a spline in from that point. So you see there, I'm careful to zoom in and make sure I get it. So I put it. And in this case, I'm only going to do a 3-point spline. I just put a point out there, and then I go to the end point. And you'll see it, hopefully, since that point is on this plane. You should see it. You're going to see it's not showing me that highlight of that. I'm going to go ahead and view this as best I can from the top. I really need it to be right at that point, and it's not showing me that right there. So what I need to do is hit this projected geometry tool, and now it put that point exactly on my plane. So now I can go and finish that spline. It's not a bad idea to make sure you do that on the bottom too. You want to make sure you pick that point as the point that the spline connects to. Okay, so let me redo it. Spline, zoom in from that point. I'm just going to click out here. I'm going to move that later. And then I'll come up here to that point. You see it actually clicks, and now I can finish. Finish. And now view it from the front. I can see, all right, how much bulk or contour do I want in my blade? I'm just going to pick something like that on that side, and then finish stitch. Now I also want one on the other side, so guess what? I got to go with my plane tool, do the 3-point plane again, and this time I want it to go through that point. So I pick that point and that point. I want to make sure I'm careful here. See how that point is not the one? It's that one. And then I'll pick the other plane point here on the bottom. That's my third point plane. I go over here to that new plane and I sketch on it. And I use the use tool again. That's always a good idea. And I'll zoom in and with that point and that point. Make sure I put the right one. Actually, that point. See how I wasn't careful in that case? So I just deleted that. That can cause a lot of trouble and frustration. So now I put my other spine in. So it's going to go from there out, and then it's going to end right there. Check that. All right. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of view this from the front. And I think I like this. I think I'm going to keep my leading trailing edge a little flat, and I'll have my leading edge have the greater amount of contour. Oh, that's on the other sketch plane. That's right. So this will actually probably work. And so now I'm going to go create my loft again. So it's that. Click to add. To that. Now I can add this. Click to add. So click in here. Click to add. Okay. And make it new. Make sure it doesn't add to anything that's existing. Now I'm going to say okay. And there she is, guys. So now you see that's my turbine blade right there. So let me finish this up. It doesn't have to take that much longer here to finish this up. Now that you got that done, you got most of this done. And home, so that's going to be the top of it, and that's the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the visibility of the hub back in. And now I just need to do a circular pattern of this around. So I hit circular, but I want a pattern. I want the pattern. I'm just going to try and pick it here. Yeah, that. And then rotation axis. It's going to be this axis. It defaulted to 6, and that's why I chose 6. I was just, all right, I'll try 6. But obviously the number here is up to you of rotations. Then I wanted to combine all of these together. So I'm going to select them and select that. Okay, now it should just be all one solid. There we go. That's really enough to get started. I put one more feature in. I put a fillet on my ring here, and it made a little bulb. And you could dare to pull that back or make it less. But I was pretty happy with that, so I accepted it. And the last thing I would do, and I did this, but it turned out that I had to drill this out anyways to get it onto the motor. But we might as well have a point to drill at. So what I did is on this face, go ahead and sketch and put in a circle and just make it dimension it at 0.07. And accept that, and then extrude, remove, and not 0.3, not all the way through, but I just went through 0.3 inches. Through, there we go. Done. I'm going to save this. Call it Mr. Example. Okay. And it's going to save it in my documents folder. Good to go. Now I can download and preview this.